What's going on, guys? CDG Matt back. It's been about a month, so it's time to update the power rankings. As you can see, we have tiers here, waiting for summer, just a hair away, playoff team, want in the play-in, do not want in the play-in, and then existence is suffering. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're going to jump right in with the Portland Trail Blazers. I think I want them in the play-in. They're a young team, so they still need a little bit of playoff experience, and experience playing against veteran teams in situations where maybe they're not the favorite. You know, they're going to roll into the play-in. Maybe Deni Avdija is going to be healthy. His back has been killing him for the back half of the season. Ever since, mid-season it feels like. Deni's back has been absolutely just taking him out of games. I think I still want to see them in the play-in, though, because they do have some young guys that I just want to get more looks. I want Scoot Henderson to play more games, even though he played like shit last time I watched him. He shot like 3 for 11. He was horrible. But I still want to see him play more. He's had very limited reps this year. Caleb Love has been around this year. I'm not the biggest Caleb Love guy, all things considered. But he is young. There's something there. There's shot creation there. Maybe Deni comes back, and then maybe they can make some noise in the play-in. I don't think this is a solid playoff team. Injuries have ravaged them just about all season. But I'm not the biggest Blazers guy, but I still think they're a young team that deserves a little bit of respect for how they've handled this injury-riddled season, plus their coach gambling away the whole organization, basically. They've handled it relatively well. Like, they're still in the play-in, just kind of dangling. But I would like to see them make it at least, so that way they can get some experience. Milwaukee Bucks, I don't want to see them in the play-in game. I don't. I don't think they're gonna. I think they're still back of the 10 seed at the current time of recording, so thank God. But I don't want to see them in the play-in. I'm good. I'm so good on Bucks games without Giannis. So good. I understand Ryan Rollins is there, and he can be a little bit of entertainment value. But beyond Ryan Rollins, their youth is just kind of not great. I don't know. Do I need to see more Pete Nance in my life? Do I need to see more KPJ? Not really. Not really. No Giannis on the Bucks. I don't want to see that team play. The Bulls don't make the play-in. I don't think they're gonna. Obviously, they're very far out of the playoffs or play-in at this point. They've fallen quite a bit. But there's still some room. You know, there's 20 games left. They can make noise and somehow make it back. I don't want them to. I want them to tank. I want them to be terrible. And I know people hate tanking. But, like, if the Bulls go 500 this year, that's a lost season. They've lost, right? I know we don't want tanking in the NBA, but, like, the Bucks, what's the point? If they're 15 games under, what are they under right now? Let me check. They're 7 under 500 with no Giannis currently at the time of recording. 7 games under 500. If Giannis comes back, I still don't want to see him play 10 games just to roll into the playoffs and probably lose anyways. They have a good 5-man lineup. I believe it was the lineup with, was it Rollins, AJ Green, somebody, Giannis, and then Turner. It ended up being a net positive lineup, but they don't have many net positive lineups. When it comes to the Bulls, I don't think they have a single one. Like, I don't think there's a lineup that I'm worried about with the Bulls, especially with Jalen Smith out. I'm good. I'd just rather see them lose out. Maybe they get some flashes from Dillingham or something like that down the year. Jaden Ivey's hurt. A weird season for the Bulls. Thankfully, it's coming to an end soon, and they got like 15 second-round picks that they can root for. Cavs, I think they're just a hair away. Also, I've heard complaints from my last rankings video. I will try to make it in order, so that way it's legit like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 power rankings. I will put them like in order in the bracket. The Cavs are just starting off and just a hair away. I don't think they're a top contender because of James Harden's thumb. If James Harden's thumb wasn't hurty, and Donovan Mitchell, I believe, is playing hurt too recently, they'd be up here. But with Harden's injury and the injury woes that they've dealt with all season, Mobley's missed time, Mitchell's missed time. Obviously, when Garland was there, he wasn't playing. They've been injured all season, and they managed to do well, mainly because they're bench guys and they're young guys. Tyson, Tomlin, a lot of young guys have stepped up for them. But with Harden's injury, I just kind of have my doubts a little bit, especially with his playoff track record. No disrespect to the guy, he's a Hall of Famer, but we can all admit he's had some lows in the playoffs before. I'd hate to see him have a bad playoff series because his thumb's hurt. You know what I mean? That's brutal. That's brutal. I don't even know if it's a thumb. I just said thumb, but finger. It doesn't matter. The Celtics, I'm still going to put over Cleveland, but I don't think that they are the favorites in the East. I don't think they should be. I think they're a step above Cleveland, again, because they're at least healthier. And, you know, my GOAT may come back soon. That's a complete game changer. And I see people saying things like, well, he might throw off the chemistry and the rhythm. And I can see that if he was playing a full workload. There's no chance on God's green earth when Tatum gets back, he's playing 40 minutes. Nowhere close. he's probably not even going to get a full starter's workload, really. If you don't think Jason Tatum can maximize 20 to 25 minutes, you might be nuts. If they give him 20 to 30 minutes per game, if you don't crack the 30-minute mark, Jason Tatum will still make his impact felt in 25 minutes. I promise you that. It's going to work out just fine, too. Joe Mazzulla is a hell of a coach. He's figured it out all year with lesser talent. You give him better talent, I'm sure it'll work out. The Clippers, I don't really want in the play-in anymore. Well, when I get down to these lower tiers, just a reminder that these three teams down at the bottom, from do not want in the play-in to existence is suffering, none of these teams are going to get ranked because it doesn't matter. Does it matter if your team's 25th or 28th? No, not really. So the Clippers, I don't really want them in the play-in, especially Darius Garland's making his return. So that's good. Hopefully he can finish out the rest of the season healthy. That would really be good to see. I just think that the Clippers are in such a weird spot, and they kind of traded at the deadline and kind of sold at the deadline a little bit. I don't think they have their own first-round pick, but at the same time, I think they're in that landing area where, like, their pick protection, it can convey back to them. Correct me if I'm wrong down below. I don't know. Please correct me down below. I'm not above, getting critiqued. But I don't want to see the Clippers in the play-in because I don't want to see, like, Kawhi Leonard fighting for his life for nothing. Obviously Kawhi's a competitor. He's going to want to go out there and play, but it's going to be hard to see him just go out there and compete for nothing, effectively. I kind of do want to see some of their young guys get playoff experience, but at the same time, I don't know, not that bad. They don't have any, like, young guys that I would staple. Besides my guy Giannis, he's nice, but yeah, I like the Clippers a little bit, but not enough to want to see them play more games. Grizzlies, I'm going to put down here. I know they are 11 seed right now at the time of recording, but I don't think they really have a chance to play in. They are not the worst bad team in the league. I don't know if you want to take that as a compliment or not, but they're like maybe the worst of the terrible teams in the league. Or the best of the terrible teams in the league. Sorry, misspoke. They are the best terrible team in the league because they can put together an entertaining game, every once in a while. If Ja's healthy, that helps, but different. Even if not, like Cam Spencer, Ced Coward, Jalen Wells, like even Santi Aldama, like they can put on an entertaining game here and there. They just aren't good. That's just kind of how it is for them. They don't even have a center with Edey again being hurt. I like Memphis. I like the way that they played this year, and I think Isolo has shown that he can be a coach, like a real coach in this league. I'm not sure to what extent because he doesn't have a competent roster around him. It's unfair to grade Tomas Isolo at this point in his career when he hasn't really had competent rosters to help him. But I think the Grizzlies are a bad team, but again, the best of the bad teams. Atlanta, don't want them in the play-in. They're probably going to make the play-in. Don't really want to see him in the play-in. Why? Simply put, like, I like Jalen Johnson. I think he's an all-star talent, of course. But beyond that, I don't really have anyone to root for on the roster, really. They got playoff experience already. This is a team that's had playoff experience. They made the play-in multiple years in a row. They made the playoffs. They lost to the Celtics 2 years ago, something like that. We'll move them. You know what? Fuck it. I'll move them up a little bit. They're definitely better than the Bulls. They're definitely better than the Bucks right now, so the Hawks are there. The Clippers can go like right there. None of this really matters. It's all box score, window dressing. The Hawks, I don't want to see it. They've been in the play-in for 100 years. The 1 year that they tanked and got the number 1 pick, the guy's ass. Sorry. Zachary Sachet is a hard watch this year. Hard watch. I'm rooting for him. But I don't want to see the Hawks make a play-in push, be 500. I'm more curious about their offseason. I need to see what their offseason is. That doesn't mean I don't care about the play-in. I want to see what their offseason looks like. McCollum's probably gone. He's a free agent, I believe. Where do you go after that with the rebuild? Obviously, you're building around Jalen Johnson, but where does it go after that? Dyson Daniels can't play offense. Nikhil's good, Jonathan Kuminga has shown some real signs of a pulse. There's a pulse there. Is he a good player on a competent team? I don't know. But on a team like Atlanta that gets out on the break like they do, he kind of fits in. They play a fast-paced game, full-court game, and he fits the pace. It's fun to see Kuminga play more, but overall, I don't have any real attachment or wantingness for this Hawks season to continue. Hornets, I want them to climb out of the play-in, but I don't know if they will. I really don't know if they'll be able to catch Orlando. To get out of the play-in, they have to catch Philly, who I think is 3 or 4 wins better than them. I'm not sure if they'll catch Philadelphia. Philadelphia has been skidding recently, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure if Charlotte's going to be able to catch up. And if they aren't, I really badly want to see them in a playoff series. Like, very badly. This is a team that can make life hell on a 1 seed or a 2 seed. they can make your existence hell, right? They are a fast team. They have plenty of scoring facets, whether it's Miller, Kahn, LaMelo, Bridges can even get hot for a game. Hell, Kobe White's off their bench. He could get hot for a game. And then they have defense as well. Moussa Diabate, although I don't like the guy, Miles Bridges can defend a little bit. They have a great team and a young coach in Charles Lee. I really want to see them in a playoff series. I think, honestly, they're better than Portland. So I guess I'm going to move them up, even though they're in the play-in. I want to see them in the playoffs. I think that they can catch Philly. You're like 3-4 games back. That's not that bad with 20 remaining. I'm super in on Charlotte. I want to see them do big things this season. I want to see their playoff push. I want to see them make the playoffs. They've made it a fun season to watch, and Brandon Miller is my guy. That's the last thing I got to say. Love Brandon Miller. The Jazz stink bad. That goes without doubt. Dude, they had a lineup substitution the other day. It might be the worst lineup substitution I've ever seen in my life. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try and find it. This was their lineup 3 days ago, I believe, for Thursday. It is Isaiah Collier at the 1, John Konchar at the 2, Cody Williams at the 3, Ace Bailey at the 4, Kyle Filipowski at the 5. That's a god-awful lineup. I don't know. I haven't watched a Jazz game in quite some time. I know Isaiah Collier's had some really decent games. I'm proud of him. I wish he would be better than a 70% free throw shooter. That's the one big critique about Isaiah Collier that I really have. He's a mid to below average free throw shooter, and if you're a point guard, you just can't be that. Shout out to Ace Bailey, though. He's getting some run down the stretch here. Should help his confidence out. The Kings are going in the exact same spot. It's a pitiful team. Pitiful team. Their young guys are getting more PT. Thank God. That's the only saving grace for Kings games is the fact that they have some young, interesting guys, whether it's Nick Clifford or who's their other wing that they got? Maxime's my guy, of course, Maxime Reynaud. Devin Carter's had some good games. Who is the other wing that they have? Hold on. Of course, Dylan Cardwell's very good. He's come a long way from the start of the season. I was thinking of Daquan Plowden, who's had some interesting games with them. But otherwise than that, shout out to the Kang Gang podcast. Those guys are the only thing that makes Kings basketball entertaining because the team really doesn't. Shout out to Maxime and his floaters in the lane, though. He should be getting some Rookie of the Year and all rookie votes. Happy for him. The Knicks, I believe, are they've just been a step behind the Celtics standing-wise. Head-to-head, very close games, very tight games. Same with the Cavs and the Knicks. That'd be a very tight series as well. They are all just a hair away, in my opinion. I would have the Celtics over the Knicks. And then would I have the Cavs over the Knicks? You know, I think so. I don't know. I like the toughness that the Cavs have added, with Tomlin playing and guys like that. The Heat bring, Naquan Tomlin brings that toughness, that grit, that dog. But the Knicks have one of the best playoff risers in the league right now in Jalen Brunson. I know I'm a Boston fan, but I have to admit he comes when the moment's there. Jalen Brunson will answer the door most of the time. I don't know who I want ahead of each other. I'm going to take the Cavs over the Knicks just because it's the shiny new toy. The Knicks have been good for a couple of years now, 2 years with Brunson and Towns. They've been a good team. The Cavs just added Harden, Schroeder, Ellis. It's a shiny new toy. Maybe I rank them ahead of the Knicks simply because I just like the shiny new toy more than the toy that we've had around for a while. We've seen this Knicks team for a little bit. This Cavs team, it's bright, new. They're having fun. So you know what? They're going to get the nod. The Lakers are just a playoff team because they have actually yet to figure out anything defensively. It's a piss-poor defense, quite frankly. They don't stop a nosebleed, They beat the Kings yesterday. Congratulations, guys. And I saw them flexing that win. That made me a little bit mad, but some of their losses recently have been abysmal. Lost to Orlando. Luka passes up a 3 that could tie it, but he says LeBron wanted him to pass the ball. LeBron takes an awful shot. He has to take the shot. The buzzard's running out, but it's not a good look. They lose that game. They go to the Phoenix game. Royce O'Neal is left bare naked open at the buzzer. What are we doing? DA is putting up 2 and 2 and then packing it in. I ain't no Clint Capella. I won't even get into that because I feel like everyone on the internet's gotten into that. Thankfully, we need to call him out for he needs to stop being fucking dumb. The comment like that is just dumb. The Lakers are a piss poor defensive team, and I see the top end talent. I do. I really do. But everyone else behind the top end talent, worrisome, not great. And then even the top end talent, their net rating when all three are on the court isn't pretty, and that's been very well documented. So redundant skill sets in the starting lineup, not a good second unit, not even good role players and complementary guys. There's plenty to worry about with the Lakers. I'll put them over Charlotte for... No, I won't. Charlotte's been way more fun to watch. They've been way better recently. I'm giving them the nod. Sorry, Lakers fans. They're a playoff team, but this Lakers team can't be taken seriously if they can't defend a fucking housefly. Orlando, I want them in the play-in. I do. They beat Portland the other day. I think they did, so that means they have to go over Portland. Orlando is a weird team. Recently, they've played not great. They've lost back-to-back, I think, at the time of recording. Paolo Ball has been more interesting to watch. No Franz, of course, with injury. It's been Paolo specifically. And Jalen Suggs is there playing his best. He shaved his head. I think I started that trend. You know, maybe he watches the videos. If he does, shout out to Jalen Suggs, man. That buzzer beater at Gonzaga, you were tough, bro. But I'm pretty sure I said in that ranking the top 100 players, the Ringer video that I did, the last video I recorded, I'm pretty sure I literally said Jalen Suggs needs to shave his head. And then he does for last game. So I'm saying I started that, even though he's been called out for it for months now. His hair was atrocious. Thank God he got rid of it. I think the thing that makes me want to see the Orlando Magic in the play-in is because it has become just Paolo Ball. Usually throughout Paolo's career, it's been Franz is there. You know, there's other guys there. I want to see unfiltered Paolo Banchero by himself do it. You know, I know Desmond Bane's there, and he's having a good year, really good year. But I want to see solo Paolo Ball. I want to see him see what he can do, because a lot of people talk about them misusing him or them not having spacing and stuff like that. Right now, most lineups are like Paolo, Suggs, and role players, or maybe Anthony Black's out there. What can Paolo do when it's his team on his shoulders? That's why I want to see the Magic play more this year. The Mavericks are like on the fringe of the basement. I would have the Grizzlies over the Mavericks because I don't know. Does it really matter? I don't think the Mavericks are good. They aren't. They've been in and I mean, there's so many lineups, dude. That's a team that has run 500 different lineups this year. I swear to God. They've run so many different lineups this year. You turn on the game and it's a different lineup on every time. I have not seen a Mavericks game with a consistent starting lineup. It feels like in a long time. I don't know if it's elite tanking. I don't know. But they have not had a consistent lineup, it feels like, for a while now. They are like, them and the Grizzlies are the line for a bad team. Because I think they're competent. The Grizzlies and the Mavs are two teams that are competent enough to win a game against a good team, but not competent enough to string together multiple good wins. The Heat, you know what? Put them in the fucking play-in. Put them in the play-in. You want to know why we put them in the play-in? Because Bam Adebayo's sitting here talking about we're better than a playoff. We're better than a play-in team. Okay, prove it. Prove it. They've had some good stretches recently, I guess. I mean, they're pretty bad on the road. They're multiple games under 500 on the road. That enough is kind of worrisome right there. They're not a bad defensive team. They have like the people on the court to be a good defensive team, better than they are, I feel like, and they just aren't. They also have some young guys that I'm interested in, like Pelle Larsson has been hooping recently. He's been really good this year, silently. And I don't know, there's just some guys on the Heat that I want to see take a step maybe. And them versus Detroit in the first round would be maybe the muddiest games of the playoffs. Those would end like 99-98. Brooklyn, dumpster. They've had a couple of games recently. I don't know if you've been watching Nets basketball. There's no need to. Trust. There's really no need to. I've been doing it for no reason. Day'Ron Sharpe is fun. I love Day'Ron Sharpe, and I keep saying it. Nets are so spoiled having him as a backup big. That's one of the best backup bigs in the league. But beyond that, they've had this issue the last few games where they can compete until halftime. Coming out of the half, dead flat. Horrible. Happened against the Celtics, and then I believe the game before, and I forget who they were facing. But back-to-back, maybe 3 games straight where it's like, going into halftime, it's like a 2-point deficit. Maybe it's tied. Maybe they have the lead by 1 or 2. And then the end of the game, they're down 15-20. And it's like, how did we get here? They're tanking, and it's all right. You know, shout out to my guy, Ben Saroff. He's getting in the game recently. Danny Wolf is a fun player because every once in a while, he shows some plus athleticism. But at the same time, I think to myself, would I trust myself throwing a lob to that guy? I don't know. You know, I like Danny Wolf, though. He's a really interesting player. Shoots free throws kind of like Kevin Durant because he has his body pointed to the left and he keeps that right elbow straight up. I don't know. Very technical free throw form shooting. I like the Nets a little bit. I like watching them a little bit. Only for the first half. The second half, you can pretty much turn the game off. If I held the torch up to the Lakers, I will hold the torch to the Nuggets. They are just a hair away because they just have, I think they just have a better roster than the Lakers do. But I will hold the torch just as much to the Nuggets as I did the Lakers. The Nuggets are an awful defensive team without Aaron Gordon right now. Bad. Bottom 10, I would say. Easily, comfortably. They can't stop anything. And that's one issue. The other issue is Nikola Jokic can't buy a three or anything, really. He's shooting sub 50% from the field since he's come back. That's not Jokic-like at all. He's shooting sub 30% from three since he came back. That's not Jokic-like at all either. If he's hurt, he's hurting his team too. I don't want to be an asshole, but if he's still playing hurt, he's not helping his team much more. I don't give a fuck what the box score says. Watch the games. He's not playing well. Hell of a compliment to a player as well to be able to say, hey, he's struggling right now. Meanwhile, he's putting up a triple-double every game. I'm not saying it's empty stats because he's still helping keep his team in the game. And passing and getting assists, no matter the context to me, is helping your team. Getting assists is not hurting your team. What's hurting his team is the fact that he can't make anything, and he has turned the ball over too much on that passing side. He struggled, and I have to hold the torch to him. I know there's a couple of like big NBA accounts on Twitter that have been saying things like, well, we need to get rid of the 65 game mark now. No, the fuck we don't. No, we don't. A lot of people only want to get rid of it because Jokic might not hit that 65 game mark, and also because he's been like hurt, and so he could sit out more games if there's no 65 game minimum. I don't care. We don't need to get rid of it. We don't. I don't know. I don't think the system's broken. I think the players just need to play more if you want to make awards. I'm not saying skill issue because injuries aren't a skill issue, but man, I don't care. 65 games, it's like 70% of the season. If you can't check that box, I don't know what to tell you. Shouldn't be changing the rules just because Jokic is struggling for once. For once in his career, Jokic is struggling. Let him figure it out. I think he's hurt, but we'll never know. I mean, even down the stretch of their game against OKC, I think it was, like Cam Johnson just couldn't buy one late. I know I'm rambling about the Nuggets more than like any other team, but that's because they've been struggling recently, and it's a team that I really enjoy watching. I've been watching. I know a lot of people say, like, I said it for a while, but they need another ball handler besides Murray and Jokic. They have a bunch of role players, but no ball handlers. I don't think Aaron Gordon coming back is going to fix that, but I don't think it'll hurt. They just need Aaron Gordon back, but at the same time, their defense needs to be better than it is. Their defense is actually, like, abysmal, worrisome, and that's part of Jokic as well. You're the center, the most important defensive position on the court. If he's not engaged offensively at times, what do you think he's doing defensively? It's not consistent effort out of Jokic on the defensive end right now. I'm on his ass because he's a top 2 player in the league, and when he's struggling, he deserves it. Pacers, they're really bad. The basement. What's his name? Their center has been playing well right now, recently. Ooh, I forget who it is. Not Jay Huff. The other white guys. Micah Potter? It is indeed Micah Potter. I was right. He's shooting like over 40% with the Pacers since he's joined the team, and that's not bad. Shout out to Micah Potter. But the rest of you, I don't want to watch a Pacers game. I'm good. Who else can we move to the basement? Let's start thinning this shit out. Pelicans, basement. Where did they go? Right here. Goodbye, Pelicans. I don't really watch much Pelicans anymore. I saw them running a Derek Queen, Yves Missi lineup. I don't know how often they do that. I want to check the cleaning the glass numbers. But that was a fun lineup that they ran. And it's nice to have a little bit of rim protection behind Derek Queen because he's not that. Zion got hurt in their last game, I believe, which really sucks because he had that string of starts going for him, and I was really happy. I think it all came when he fell, like trying to dunk, I think it was. He might have like slipped. Maybe he was going for a layup, but I just remember him taking a little bit of an awkward fall. I don't know if it was that or not, but I don't watch much Pelicans ball. They are not a great team. Wizards, same spot. You can go ahead of the Pacers. Do we go back? It doesn't matter. You can go ahead of the Nets, too. You know what? I believe in them. The Wizards have been not great. And, yeah, their season's just about over. So it's getting close to over, at least. They're letting some guys get some run. Late in the season. Like, again, I talked about this with a regular viewer, a fan of the channel, in the comments. Jameer Watkins has been playing a lot more recently. And I went back and I started watching a little bit. And maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something there. That's the thing about this late season hoop shit. You're not sure whether you got a really good player or whether he's just a end of the season guy who got more opportunity and strived in that role. I keep calling it this, but anytime in March, March area, this month area, I like to call it the Josh Jackson zone, because this is when you start getting the Josh Jackson breakout games that happened. Remember that some seasons back? So, maybe watch out some of your teams. Maybe they get a Josh Jackson run out of somebody. I'm not sure. The Wizards are lower, though. They're waiting for next season. They need it desperately. I still think the Thunder are number one. That's where we can jump to next. They have been playing without Shea for a while. Then he comes back, and he's playing on a minutes restriction, and they still look good. So, I don't know what to tell you, man. Even when he was sitting, Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace had some breakouts. Chet had a couple of good games in there. They have a deep team, and then they add Shea back. Those role players got a lot more confidence built without Shea. It's not because it's because Shea's ball dominant, and they get to shoot more. Isaiah Joe gets to play his game more, bomb away from three. Cason Wallace taking people off the dribble. He's finishing around the rim well. I like this Thunder team. They're very deep. Lou Dort, a fucking idiot, but still a good defender. The team's really good. They're just a finals contender. They're waiting for their moment to come where they can get out of the first round. They need to get to another finals. They're hungry for it. This is a team that, they won the championship last year. Repeating is really hard. I don't know if they're going to do it because, like I said, repeating is very hard in the NBA. But if any team is prepared to do it, it looks like the Thunder. I will be putting the Detroit Pistons right behind them, right on ass. The Detroit Pistons have done a really good job this season at beating other good teams, and they beat the Spurs not that long ago. This is a very good game. Or no, they didn't beat the Spurs. The Spurs beat them. That was like their first big-time loss, I think, in my mind. Their games against the Celtics have been like within 5 points every time, I feel like. Very close games. It's just a defense. The defense that is physical, brutal. They rebound the hell out of the ball. They're tough. They just struggle sometimes with half-court shot creation. Sometimes they rely a lot on Tobias Harris creation, and that can be hit or miss too. With the Pistons up in the East as many games as they are, I believe they're like 5.5 up on the Celtics. Maybe, and this is my hope, maybe we can get more Danis Jenkins down the stretch here. I really like Danis, but I don't think he doesn't play enough. There's some games where he gets DNPs. And be another facet to their offense. I just think down the stretch here, maybe the last 10 games, we're still 28 games out. You have some time. But maybe in the last 10, 15 games area, they start letting Danis rock out more. Because that's a guy I feel like could be a big feature in their offense. He just doesn't consistently play because of injuries and stuff like that. Shuffling of lineup cards. I get it. But maybe down the stretch we could see more of him help build his his confidence come playoff time. Because if they can get a good playoff series out of Danis Jenkins, that can help them get to a conference finals or a finals. He can be a difference maker between, a second round exit and a finals appearance. He can really help. I would just like to see him get a little bit more opportunity down the stretch. You get 3 good Danis Jenkins games in the playoffs, you're going to win 3 of those games probably, and that'll get you to a conference finals or damn near it, because Cade will give you some great games, Duren will give you some great games. You have consistent guys in there. Duren and Cade are the most consistent probably. If you can get a third guy in there that can create his own shot, make his own shot, and play a little bit of defense. I know Danis isn't the best defender in the world, but the team defense around them is so good. I just want to see them build his confidence a little bit more. Maybe Asar Thompson's too, because you're going to need those guys desperately down the stretch to create offense at times. Toronto, I have better than I'd put better than the Lakers and the Hornets. I think they're the best of the playoff team bracket. They are the best team in the playoff team bracket, probably. They're just a good, consistent team. Well, consistent in their defensive effort. They are a tough defensive team. Whatever team they match up against, it's probably going to be Philly, the 5-6 matchup. The 5-6 matchup, the 4-5 matchup, which would actually have them against Cleveland. That's going to be a tough series. A very tough series. And Toronto just does a good job of mucking it up, making it slow. Making it so that with the final scores in the 90s, in the 80s sometimes. They want to make it ugly, and their defense can do that because it's so switchable. Colin Murray-Boyles or Mamu playing center, that's 1 through 5 switchability, and they can all defend. Much less like you got to deal with Brandon Ingram, tough shots on the other end a lot. That's where their demise is going to come from. They can score on the break well, very well, maybe the best in the fast break. But once you can get them to settle in a half court, it gets a little bit uglier for them. But if they manage to get a couple of good hot games out of a Quickly or a Brandon Ingram in the half court, because Quickly can score in the half court, as can BI, obviously. If you can get some good games out of them, you're talking about a team that can go to a conference finals, maybe, but I don't know if you'll be able to get it consistently, and that's where the big worry comes from. They're still a solid team, still a playoff team, but I just don't have enough faith in them to put them higher than or with even the Cavs or the Knicks, who managed to get a lot better at the deadline. Well, some of them got better at the deadline, though. The Raptors didn't necessarily get that much better. Philly's also going into playoff team. With Embiid, it's a different group, obviously. I don't know if you were watching the game yesterday, Sunday Night Basketball. Of course, Neemias Queta, that's my GOAT. Neemias Queta killed them. Why? Joel Embiid didn't play. They're a below 500 team without Embiid. With Embiid, they're 21-11, 21-10, which isn't a great record, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's a very competent team. That's a 40-20 team about. That's where the Celtics are currently, if they had Embiid the full season. They haven't, unfortunately. The issue that arises is the same issue that arises every single year for the Philadelphia 76ers. Can you rely on Joel Embiid's health late in the season? The answer has been no for his entire career. It's the 8th, 9th straight year of saying, well, if Embiid's healthy, they can make some real noise. Maybe their finals run. And if they get Joel Embiid healthy, congratulations. I like Joel Embiid. I really do root for him in a sense, but it just hasn't happened yet. And without Joel Embiid, we saw Bona and Drummond get fucking cooked by Neemias Queta. What do you think would happen if they matched up against Detroit or the Knicks? Very big men reliant teams. Hell, even Cleveland's very big men reliant with Allen and Mobley. They need Embiid to be healthy, and I don't know how much I can bank on that. That's as far as I'm going with that. But Toronto I have over them because at least Toronto has consistent defensive effort. Can't say the same about Philadelphia sometimes, at least in my opinion, from what I've seen. The Rockets are just a hair away, but I'm going to put the Rockets obviously over the Nuggets. I'm going to take the Rockets over the Knicks probably. Would I take the Rockets over the Cavs? That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. God, I'm not sure if I would. I'm going to give them respect. I'm going to move the Rockets up. I wouldn't take them over the Celtics. I think the Celtics could beat them. I think the Rockets are still a tough defense. They played better since the burner shit. So congratulations to him. Jabari Smith has put together some decent games when he's been in the lineup. He's missed some time this year. KD has had some special games as well recently. I don't mind the way that they've been playing. They're just, I don't know. They don't do it for me. You know what I mean? It's a team that just doesn't do it, especially with the injuries. You know, Freddie's still out, obviously. That was the one before the season. But missing Steven Adams, Dorian Finney-Smith. I saw somebody say that the other day on Twitter, and I liked it, so I'm taking it. Dorian Finney-Smith. I really do hope the Rockets make a run in the playoffs. I'm not sure how much I believe in it, but I think if the Rockets matched up against Cleveland, they'd be able to play it well because they have the ability to match the big ball. Same with the Knicks. Nuggets haven't played well at all recently. That's a good defense versus a bad defense. I'm always going to take the good defense. Sorry. I just think the Rockets have a better defense than the Nuggets. That's what kind of puts them ahead, at least, in my mind. The Spurs logo looks wonky, but they're waiting for the summer. They have their team. Would I put them over Detroit? Yeah, because they beat Detroit. So, move. There we go. The Spurs are another tough defensive team, and it really helps when you have a guy in the middle that is bigger than everyone. Like ever, he's just bigger. I love the Spurs this season. I like watching them. They're a fun viewing experience. It's one of those teams where it's like I could put them on against anybody and just sit down and watch Wembanyama do ridiculous shit, like dunk from everywhere on the court. He jumps from the fucking 3-point line and he's dunking. He could probably touch the shot clock if he jumped. Now, some of you are probably going, Matt, they lost to the Knicks yesterday. Fair. Very fair. But for me, Mo Diawara was a plus 21 in that game. Will we ever see another Mo Diawara plus 21 against the Spurs? I'm not sure I can rely on that. Also, Fox played like shit yesterday. The Spurs played maybe one of their worst games of the season yesterday. I'm not sure that you're going to get an 89-point outing out of the Spurs in a 7-game series. I don't believe in that at all. As of today, do I move the Knicks ahead one in front of Cleveland? I still think Cleveland could beat them. I'm not sure. I don't know. Either way, I think the Spurs are a playoff-ready team, ready to make a deep run in the playoffs this year. They have the right mix of veterans and young guys, who are hungry. It's a great mix. Suns I want to see in the play-in. I'd put them actually. If they're healthy, I'm putting them over everyone I want to see in the play-in. They aren't healthy right now, and that's why they've been bad. Jalen Green's been in and out of the lineup, but Devin Booker's been hurt. He's coming back very soon. And then, of course, they're missing Dylan Brooks. So they're in a really tough spot where they don't have the shot creation necessary. And so that's how it leads to shit like Colin Gillespie and Grayson Allen having to be their leading scorers or, stuff like that. I like the fact that they have a good big man tandem. If Mark Williams isn't working, Oso Ighodaro usually does. I like their team when healthy more than these other playing teams. They're way more fun to watch, at least, as well. And that kind of boosts my rating a little. Timberwolves, I'm going to put over the Rockets, despite I believe the Rockets being higher in the standings. I believe in the Timberwolves more. I think they have more shot creators. Plus, they have the interior presence to be able to slow down a Houston. Houston, obviously, Şengün is a great player, a good player, a very good player, not a great player in his own right. But I think Rudy Gobert is a guy that can help shut that faucet off. And then offensive rebounding is a big thing for Houston. I think that's another thing that the Timberwolves can do a good job at shutting down, whether it's Randall or Gobert or Naz, whatever. They have the toughness to match Houston, and they have the shot-making ability as well. Are you noticing a trend, though, that I hold Western Conference teams a lot higher than Eastern Conference teams? That's no coincidence, because I do. A majority of the Western Conference teams, I think, are better than the Eastern Conference teams. If you place the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Eastern Conference today, they'd probably be closer to the 1 seed. They'd be very close to it. So if not, they would be the 1 seed. I know record-wise, purely by record, but you have to add in that they'd be facing, teams like the Wizards and the Nets and the Pacers more. So either way, I think that the Timberwolves are just a better, more tough team than a lot of other teams here. I know their late game shot creation is Anthony Edwards purely, but I still believe in that more than I believe in the Rockets late game. The Warriors, if Steph is out, I don't want to see them in the play-in game. I'm just going to keep them there because I'm going to be honest, they'll move up to the top. I don't want to see the Warriors in the play-in without Steph Curry. I don't even want to watch them without Steph Curry. It's just not enticing enough for me. Shout out to Guy Santos. He scored double-digit points in 8 straight games or something like that. So props to him. Congrats. The rest of the team, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but I watched them without Steph Curry, and I don't know. It's Flash without the fire. It's Bruce Wayne without the suit. I don't know. It's a toothless dragon is what you can call it. I don't really have this attachment to Golden State making the playoffs, and I just don't care, I guess that's how you can phrase it. Would I move anything in these rankings? I have Charlotte high, and I don't care. I don't. I think Charlotte's better than a lot of teams. The Lakers are very low. That's defensive oriented mostly. I think I'm pretty comfortable with this list. So my power rankings would be Thunder 1, Spurs 2, Detroit 3, Celtics 4, Timberwolves 5, Rockets 6, Cavs 7, Knicks 8, Nuggets 9, Raptors at 10. If you enjoyed this video, you should like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you all for joining me. Comment down below. Tell me what you agree and disagree with. I'm going to catch the game. See you guys in the next one.